Hello everyone and welcome to the Constructive Criticism Network. This network is here to help you improve at Magic the Gathering at every level. From Pauper Leagues to Top 1000 Mythic, we've got you covered. If you want to hear the entire network, head on over to our sponsor at PureMTGO.com, where you can hear each and every show, each and every week, and check out their sponsor, MTGO Traders, and tell them that the CCMTG Network sent you. Now sit back, enjoy the show. From YouTube, podcasts, and more, here's this week's episode from ConstructiveCriticism.com.
Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new episode of Mythicast. I am your host Spencer and I'm joined by none other than Mythic Mikaela.
Hello everyone.
Mikaela, today we promised the listeners that we would be talking about our thoughts on the new OP announcement. And Mikaela, the Pro Tour is back. We're going to get right into that. We're going to skip our Ready for Battle segment and go right into our main topic, which is kind of our reactions. For Constructive Criticism this week, we did kind of a really deep dive. So for this one, I just wanted us to give our honest opinion, especially, and I'll take this right off because the arena announcement still hasn't happened. Like for our listeners, these arena players, these online players, they haven't announced it yet. So let's go. Should we go over what we do know?
Yeah, absolutely. And so this is kind of a vibes, the vibes that we're getting, right?
Yeah. So the Pro Tour is back is the truth of it. So and the way that it works is kind of a kind of like a poker tournament. If you've ever played poker, you have a regional qualifiers into a regional championship, into the Pro Tour, into Worlds. That simple. It's just a ladder system that goes up to Worlds. What were your initial impressions, Mikaela?
So I think one thing that one thing that's easy to jump to is, oh, this is a PPTQ system, right? And that's not like after you kind of read and you start getting a feel for things. I don't think I think it has some similarities, obviously, to the PPTQ system in like how you progress throughout. But I think the feel of events is going to be a lot different than those, and maybe a little less daunting than the I'm grinding a PPTQ every weekend.
Yeah, I think there's like kind of a couple major differences between this and the PPTQ system. The first one being the regional championship is much more like a national championship with two GPs attached, as well as tons of side events, than it is like an RPTQ.
And that was even specifically mentioned in the article too. I had my second read through of it was actually where I caught that said, like it brings in fans and other events. So that is a really, really cool aspect of it.
Yeah, for me, like I hated RPTQs. I think we both qualified for Pro Tours off of RPTQs, and like
I was actually OG PTQ system.
Didn't you qualify in both?
No.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I thought you did both.
I didn't want to do the PPTQ grind.
That's fair. For some reason, I thought you had an OG PTQ and an RPTQ invite. So for me, like I qualified in the first season of RPTQs, and RPTQs just didn't feel like PTQs. They just felt different, and I think that for this, it's not supposed to feel like a PTQ. It's supposed to feel like if you are boomers like Mikaela and myself, you might have played in NCQs and Nationals. And I think that is kind of the feel that I get from this.
Yeah, to me, it definitely feels like a Nationals or, even it kind of does just feel like a GP with this like special invite event. The LCQs, the day 3 PTQs. Actually, I think those were even available in like the old PT system where you could have a PTQ on day 3.
Yeah, they definitely had PTQs at GPs for years and years. I think that my tweet, I tweeted like I don't like PPTQs, but I like this, and I think the major difference is in what you're qualifying for is pretty different. I had a store already talk to me about like their store would give a flight to Atlanta and hotel to the winner and like stuff like that, like stuff that they used to do for old school PTQs, right? PPTQs didn't have they were the worst. Like you would show up, they'd charge you $25. Yeah, you get two packs for winning, and they just complain the players were in their store, and it's like, why are you running the event then?
Well, and let's even talk about that, like that regional PTQ. you go to the regional PTQ, right? And it's this closed off event. It's really only the regional PTQ going. It's only the people who are qualified. So where you might have like these regional PTQs are probably pretty similar to what the old PTQ size was. So where you might have traveled with a group of friends to the PTQ, none of your friends might have qualified other than you. So it's just it lost a lot of that fun. Like I'm gonna go to PTQ this Saturday with my friends, and hopefully one of us can win.
Whereas everybody can go to Atlanta. Like, you don't have to be qualified. It's just going to be a great weekend at DreamHack for those of us in the U.S. The only could be better I have for this, really, I have two. My first one is I wish that the stores that were running the RCQs couldn't pick any format. I wish that they would just have them pick between the constructed format and sealed. This is something that they tried with PPTQs that I thought was really bad. I don't know. Am I a weird one for liking seasonal Magic? Like, it's Pioneer season, it's limited season, or like it's Pioneer season, standard season, and modern season, and then you can always play sealed. Like, if they don't want to offer constructed, they get to do that. And like, that is so much better than like giving them 4 things to pick from. I don't know. What do you think?
So as a player, I always really liked the seasonal system because that was what I was focused on for that 3 months, right? I didn't have to like spread myself too thin, and obviously, we're both parents. Like that's a big concern, and the system doesn't just have to cater to us, right? But it's nice to see those types of things where I'm not putting like that much effort into so many different things in Magic, and really having to put all my eggs in that basket.
And the thing is that the Cryot will be, for me, the Cryot will be so big for Modern that like so many of these are going to be Modern.
Yes.
And
is Modern an option? I thought Modern was not an option.
It's Modern, Pioneer, Standard, and Sealed are the options for the RCQs.
Okay. Yeah, so I think that's going to actually be a problem because like a lot of stores around where I am will argue, well, we always fire Modern events at our store, so I want to cater to my Modern players. And like that's really frustrating that you're just always going to cater to the people who go to your store every single week to play this Modern event. And maybe there's like not necessarily like a lot of effort put into getting those other events to fire off because hey, this is what's working. But that's also like you can go deep into that conversation.
It really can, right? Because like, yeah, they should reward their players, right? But like at the same time, this is an opportunity for you to get players that wouldn't normally come to your store into your store, and I don't think that you do that just by running your most popular format all the time. I think that you do it by providing a great experience. So,
like I'm really not interested in playing Modern events. I'm just not. I'm willing to venture into Pioneer, but I'm just not interested in Modern. And we've already seen when stores are given the option to like not have Standard, they don't do it. So
yeah, you and I both love Standard a lot, and I think this. Yeah, I won't go too deep into this.
I guess I agree with like stores having like some flexibility,
right.
But maybe like let's pull it in a little bit so we don't end up with like 20 Modern events in the Nebraska, Iowa area or something like that, right?
So my other could be better was the one that we'll probably get into the most at the end of this episode, which is like that they didn't announce the Mtg Arena Pathways. It was kind of frustrating. Do you have any could be betters for this other than that?
I'm excited to get into the online aspect a little bit because I think there was more information announced than people really initially thought. I guess other could be betters. It would be interesting to see like the regional breakdown a little bit easier rather than having to navigate to all these like separate websites to get that information. Like I know DreamHack has the US breakdown posted right now, but it's I was trying to do some research into like the other areas because I think the US gets like 48 invites to the first Pro Tour off of the regional event. I'm wondering what the other regions look like. Just because I'm curious about that.
Yeah, like Canada getting 2 events that each give out 16 was interesting on different sides of their country. So it's my other could be better is Atlanta. Like I hate that airport. And
you said Atlanta?
I don't like the Atlanta airport. I might be in the minority here, but like that's a city. Like the whole airport's a city. It's impossible to navigate through.
It's a very easy place to fly to, though.
So that's fair, but like it takes you an hour to leave the airport because the airport's so big.
Denver's just as bad.
Well, Denver's bad because of the navigation out of the airport. Like you actually have to walk across a city to get out of the Atlanta airport. I don't know.
Look, I have ran across Atlanta and Denver. I think my Denver run was significantly worse, given there was a child involved in the Denver run and not in the Atlanta one. So there could be some bias
Why
there.
don't you kind of, because I actually don't know the extra information I'm missing on the online stuff. Why don't you enlighten me and the listeners on kind of like what we do know, what we don't know?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've just seen a lot of like, oh, there's no online path like conversation on Twitter, or like the online players are being left out, and I'm not reading it that way. I'm definitely, that arena section was there's going to be ways to get, to do these, to get to the qualifier weekend other than ladder, which I think is really positive. We've had a little bit of that already with some of these tournaments that qualify you for the arena qualifier, but it'll be really interesting if there's in-client stuff. Number two, the Magic Online Showcase weekends. I think people are missing. Those can qualify you directly to Worlds and Regional Championships. So I think maybe people are sad to see these online only PTs go, because that was a more convenient way for them to play, right? So maybe that's a feel out there. But
yeah, but the good thing is now
pathways.
now the age gap goes down, right? Now because the Pro Tours are paper again, 13-year-olds get to play in them, which was I found really frustrating during COVID. And I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know, but like the fact that like these 17-year-old kids that were crushing it on MPGO couldn't get in was like, I don't know, disheartening. And I'm glad to see that change.
Yeah, again, like the whole legal thing, like I want to believe that, Wizards was not like, oh, we just want to exclude minors from our events and we don't want them to play, because that's not how they've signaled in every other aspect. So I do genuinely have to believe there's something else there.
Yeah. I also, if you're confused, I do believe they gave a date for when they'll make the announcement for Arena. I think it's like April 24th or something, or 25th.
I know they said April. That's what I.
Yeah. I listen. I said this on CCMTG, but I'll say it here too. That like it is frustrating that they have done announcement after announcement after announcement that something big was coming, and then they killed everything. They were like, actually, you know what? No announcement's coming. We're killing everything. And then they had months and months and months to make this announcement. They announced the date for this announcement and still didn't have the answer to some of our questions.
Yeah.
That I totally get that frustration. We're allowed to be frustrated about that, but that doesn't mean that nothing's coming. It just means that what I think it means is they actually are uncertain about the future of Arena because of how badly Alchemy failed, and thus are trying to decide what to do moving forward. And they're more focused on that than this system for the Arena client.
I think that makes sense. And also, I'm guessing there's probably a little bit of, we want to get this right, and we have a little bit more time to get the online aspect right, versus in-person qualifiers are starting July. If you're doing in-person stuff, that takes a little bit more planning than, oh, I'm going to go qualify online. I don't have to go anywhere to do this, right? So I think you can make that announcement a little bit later without, it being too late for the players.
What do you hope for as far as Arena qualifiers? Do you want it to be ladder? Do you want it to be event weekends? What do you want, Mikaela?
I mean, so there's a lot of discussion out there on ladder that there's tons of articles people can go read on that, right? And just some mentality behind the ladder. I think ladder has a place. I think, maybe there should be like some reward for ladder, but I think maybe some people like shoot too high on what they think that reward should be. Like, no, I don't think like, reaching number one on ladder at the end of the month should, qualify you for worlds or something, because like you have to get lucky to win a tournament, right? But it's also like it's very, very different than like the luck and skill that goes into getting number one on Arena on the last day of a month, right?
Yeah, I honestly, in my opinion, I'll just say what I would wish. Mm-hmm. I'm fine with ladder mattering. I'm fine with saying, in order to play in these qualifiers, you just need to get Mythic. And we're going to cap Mythic at, I don't know how many players, right? But, I don't know about you, but like getting Mythic for me, when we've done this show before, when you and I both have just been able to get Mythic when we wanted it, right? And I think a lot of players, that's true. It's about dedicating the time. It's not about the level of skill you're at in Magic at some point. And to me, that is not an indicator of what I want for my Pro Tour. Like, it's just Go ahead.
Absolutely, and we know the pairings for ladder also are impacted by like that hidden elo, correct? So like
Not only that,
who's newer to Arena
yeah.
and grinding the ladder isn't necessarily going to be getting paired against somebody who's had a consistent high.
Yeah. So for me, I think that the ladder has a place, and I don't know what the place is, but I don't think it's the place that qualifies people for Pro Tours. I think that if they wanted to do a special ladder championship, that would be actually awesome to give those grinders and also it lets them do their arena only format stuff, right? Like there's a way to do this that isn't make me play Alchemy to go to a Pioneer Pro Tour. Like that's just, I don't know. So my hope is that ladder gets removed in some way, to be honest. Ladder gets its own thing, and we get I don't know, we get like our PTQ weekends where X wins get you an or RCQ weekends where X wins get you an invite as, I don't know, a $30.5 entry fee. They make them like 5Ks or something. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, or even like I've seen mentions of like leagues, could be a good thing for Arena, and I could see that being kind of cool if you can, get so many points from a league or from playing leagues or something.
Dude, they already have leagues. They already exist.
But leagues that mean something.
It's so wild. It's so wild to me that they chose ladder when they already had a system on MTGO that they had worked on for years and that people started to love. Like, do you remember when dailies were killed and leagues were announced? People were like, "What are you doing?" And then everybody was like, "I was wrong. I was wrong. Leagues are way better." Like, I was an ace. I was like, "I can't believe you're killing dailies. This sucks so bad." And then like after my first league, I was like, "I was wrong. This is fantastic."
Like you get flexibility. It's great, right? Like,
yeah.
And I think there's a little bit of a feel bad of trying to play online and being stuck at your computer for 6 hours straight and maybe only playing Magic for like an hour and a half of that total, right? So I guess you're not totally stuck at your computer, but that's a feel bad for me, right? I don't like that.
You gotta get Smash Bros on your TV next to your computer. It helps a lot with that, fam. No, I think we kind of covered everything big. Is there something you wanted to say or anything you're hoping for that we haven't mentioned?
I'm excited for this. I was kind of back on that PTQ grind before COVID hit, so I'm excited to, try to go that route again. And, even if I fall short and I don't qualify for like a regional championship, I'm still going to go out to DreamHack. I was going out to DreamHack before Magic was there. It's a great time. So, it's a win-win. Like, I think I posted on Twitter, I'm like so excited that my Magic trips and my DreamHack trips get to like be combined into one. That's saving me so much PTO.
I gotta ask you, so with you and Brandon both being competitive Magic players, how does that work for something like this?
So actually, the PTQ that I got second in, at the end of 2019, we actually were paired in quarterfinals of that top 8.
Right, but I guess more what I'm asking is like you're both qualified for the RCQ.
Yeah.
Your kids are coming with you to DreamHack, right? Your kid is coming with you. No, he's not coming. Okay, well then it's already solved. The problem's already solved.
Yeah, no, we don't. We do family travel, but things like DreamHack and stuff, he's just too young for.
Sure.
I think when he gets to an age where he can entertain himself,
even
if it's like staying, like, okay, you still have to stay in the same area as us so you don't get lost.
Sure.
I'm gonna be fine with that age.
Sure, like 10-year-old or something. Yeah. So for me, like, we're getting a little bit into parenting here on Mythic, but like, Maxwell and Oliver, for those who don't know, are like really close to the same age. Like, I think they're months apart. And so like for GP Vegas, Devonair just comes, brings Maxwell, and hangs out with him, right? And so the reason that I'm asking is like that's a different experience. Like if you're both playing in GP Vegas, like do one of you play one GP, one person plays the other? Like how do you decide? I was kind of curious.
Oh, I will say we actually have brought Oliver to a tournament with us. We brought him to like pre-release. We brought him to a pre-release, but it worked out because the store's like owner had brought his kids that day. So
yeah, we have a couple store owners that do that as well. I have a rule when it comes to bringing kids to Magic tournaments. By the way, your kid must be older than 4. I think that's about the age where they can sit and watch an iPad next to you, or like where like they can understand like, hey, this is an important turn. Can you give me a second type of thing? If they're like babies, I think you can't bring specifically babies to a Magic tournament. I think
Potty training, that's big.
Yeah, that is big.
A lot less stuff you have to bring with you when you don't have to carry around a diaper bag on top of everything else.
It's true. My diaper bag's cool though. It's like a backpack. Those new millennial diaper bags are pretty hot. Outside of diaper bags, I just want to shout out our sponsor over at Pure MTGO. Check out our Patreon at patreon.com/mythicast. Thank you so much for everybody listening. It's cool to see these numbers going back up already. I was a little afraid, Mikaela, the every other week was gonna like really hurt us, but I mean, we missed one episode since we said we were coming back every other week. Obviously, we had to adjust, right? Like, but I miss doing this podcast with you, and like, I think we both are. I mean, I can just feel it on this episode. Like, we're both excited about this announcement. I don't know. Like, the thing is, for the listeners, Mikaela and I have probably both never dreamed of being professional Magic players. Like, it's never been either of our goals. But like a lot of you, we want to compete in that arena, if that makes sense. And it's just cool to get that opportunity again, because I don't think either of us felt that way with the MPL.
Oh yeah, for sure. It was such a select group that I don't feel like it lined up with where my life was. You know, I want to be competitive in Magic. I want something to strive for. I can't, like I said, I can't put all my eggs in that basket though. I just can't.
Yeah, and we didn't maybe mention this, but Mikaela, the Pro Tour has limited again. People can run sealed RCQs. Like, limited's back, baby!
I'm going to be the regional qualifiers. I may have to drive up to Wisconsin where maybe they're actually offering limited. However, then I have to go against, like, the limited.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird because, like, I guess Sam Black moved. He's not up there anymore. So
I think you still have a pretty strong community there, so.
Yeah, they're still really strong up in Wisconsin. Speaking of Sam Black, don't forget to check out the rest of the Constructed Criticism Network. We have the awesome Drafting Archetypes by Sam Black, Constructed Criticism with Mason Clark and Abe Stein. We've got Common Knowledge, a Pauper podcast about improving. You can still get on the Pro Tour by playing Pauper. Go win some of those challenges, qualify in those Pauper events. And they just picked they being them and me just picked a new host for that show to really help that show become more competitive. Huge shout out to Brad, who just left. Thank you everybody so much for listening. Thank you, Mikaela, for recording with me. Are you on vacation and didn't tell me?
I told you. I told you.
Did you?
Minnesota. Yeah.
Maybe you did. Maybe you
did. I did tell you. I definitely told you.
I'm sure you did.
It's like not real vacation. It's visit family. So.
Well,
I just don't have access to my normal computer.
Oh yeah, you did tell me this.
I'm still working while I'm here. So.
Actually, huge shout out to Brandon, by the way. Like, I don't know where you guys are staying, but the fact that like Brandon just took care of Oliver while we did this while you guys were out was awesome of him. So.
Grandma and Grandpa are taking care of all of it.
Never mind, Brandon. Never mind, Brandon. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening. We'll see you guys all next time with another episode of Mythicast.